Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Today I am going to deliver my sixth lecture on the topic Jinnah's vision of Pakistan. But before going to start this lesson, let me tell you something about the objectives that we are supposed to attain at the completion of this lesson. First of all, as usual, we should know about the theme. Then we should know about the main idea. Theme refers to moral lesson. Main idea refers to the main idea which is being discussed in the lesson. Then we have MCQs. MCQs, we have to select the keyword out of the sentence. Then we have words meaning. You are supposed to know about the words meaning in English as well. Then we have short questions. After the completion of this lesson, you should be able to answer these four questions. Question number 1, 2, 3 and 4. I hope that you have understood. Then we have sketch. In sketch, in my previous lecture, I have explained it thoroughly. The brief summary that I discussed previously, that was of the whole lesson. Today we will discuss some previous points along with the points that we will discuss today. First of all, we have Jinnah speech of 11th August 1947. This was a famous speech which was delivered by Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah to the Constituent Assembly on 11 August 1947, in which he expressed his vision of Pakistan. His vision of Pakistan was a controversial issue. There were different interpretations, different opinions, and I mean to say different propositions regarding Jinnah's vision of Pakistan. And it is said that the creation of Pakistan took place as a result of Muslim nationalism in subcontinent. Further, we are told about Jinnah was a liberal secular barrister who always championed, who always favored Muslim and Hindus unity in subcontinent. Further, we are told about Jinnah that he said to the Constituent Assembly while he was delivering his famous speech that there are two functions of the Constituent Assembly. First of all, they are supposed to make future constitution of Pakistan. The first function of the Constituent Assembly, according to Quaid-e-Azam, that was framing, making of future constitution for Pakistan. And the second function of the Constituent Assembly is to serve, is to function as federal legislature. Do you know legislature? Legislature which make legislation, which make laws. Now, as you know, we have our parliament. Parliament is bicameral, okay? Our parliament is bicameral. You know, we have Senate and we have National Assembly. So combinedly, we call it parliament, and it is legislature as well, because mostly the laws, even the constitutional amendments, are made or take place in Parliament, including Senate and National Assembly. So he said to the Constitution Assembly that they have two functions. First of all, they have to frame, they have to make constitution for Pakistan, and secondly, they have to work as federal legislature. Now you see, he also talked about the inclusive government, inclusive impartial government. He said categorically to the members of the Constituent Assembly that he would like to make an inclusive means a complete, a comprehensive and impartial government where there will be religious freedom, where there will be, I mean to say, rule of law. Rule of law means superiority of or supremacy of law. Okay. Further, he said that there would be a secular government. Secular government in the sense that means that state affairs would be separated from religion. From religion means there would be no inclusion, there will be no involvement of religious affairs into state affairs. Then further, we are told about Jinnah that Jinnah asked the members of the Constituent Assembly to make a provisional constitution for the federal legislature. Provisional means a temporary constitution. Provisional means temporary, for the time being. So he asked the Constituent Assembly to make a provisional constitution in order to what? To operate that legislative or federal legislature. Then further we are told about Quaid-e-Azam that he said to the members of the Constituent Assembly that the whole world is astonished. They are wondering. They are surprised at that great revolution, that cyclonic revolution. Revolution means great change, because partition took place, division of or partition of subcontinent took place. As a result, two dominions, Pakistan and India, came into being. Those two dominions, those two states have been created as a result of this cyclonic or great revolution. Secondly, Quaid-e-Azam said that it is a cyclonic revolution, it is a titanic revolution in the sense that it took place peacefully. It was without any bloodshed. Previously, you know about French Revolution that came into being, that took place after a huge bloodshed, too much bloodshed. So it was a peaceful revolution, like glorious revolution which took place in Great Britain. Now you see, he said to the Constituent Assembly that the first duty of the government is to maintain law and order, in order to protect the life and property and the religious beliefs of its subject, its citizen. Further, he said that means that it is their duty, their obligation to put down in iron hand the two curses, that is bribery and corruption. Quaid-e-Azam said to the members of the Constituent Assembly that it is their duty to put down with iron hand, very strictly, those two curses. One is bribery and one is corruption. Okay, so this is the sketch. This is the main points that we have previously discussed, and we will discuss it today as well. So these are the main points what we call its sketch. Now let's read the next paragraphs of the same lesson. Okay, now we should start from the second last line of page 21. You know really that not only we ourselves are wandering. Wandering means we are surprised. Wandering means surprising or astonishing. Heran hona. You know really that not only we ourselves are wandering, but I think the whole world is wandering at this unprecedented. Unprecedented. Do you know unprecedented means unparalleled. Unparalleled. Quaid-e-Azam said to the members of the Constituent Assembly that not only we people are surprised at this cyclonic or great revolution which created two dominions, two separate states, India and Pakistan, but the whole world is wondering, is astonished at this great revolution, at this great change. Okay. Unprecedented cyclonic. Do you know cyclonic? Cyclonic means remarkable, great, unprecedented, unparalleled. Cyclonic means remarkable. Revolution which has brought about, which ensured, brought about means which caused, jo wajah bani, the plan of creating and establishing two independent sovereign dominions. Sovereign, do you know? Sovereign means supreme, absolute. Supreme or absolute means as a result of this cyclonic revolution, two dominions came into being. It caused the creation of two dominions, two republics, two states. What was it? That was Pakistan and India. Dominions in this subcontinent. Subcontinent means Bar-e-Saghir. Okay, so the next we have as it is, and it has been unprecedented. Once again he is repeated the same phrase, unprecedented. Okay, and then unparalleled. He said that this revolution which took place as a result of the partition of the subcontinent, that was unparalleled, unprecedented. Unparalleled means unmatchable, exceptional, great. There is no parallel in the history of the world. This mighty subcontinent, mighty means great, huge, big subcontinent with all kinds of inhabitants. Inhabitants, you know what is inhabitant? Inhabitants means permanent resident. Permanent resident, bashinde, kadim bashinde jo hote hai. Inhabitant has been brought under a plan which is titanic. Now you see the planning which was made for the division, for the partition of subcontinent, that was great. That planning was great. Is titanic. Do you know titanic? Titanic means huge or gigantic, great. Titanic, unknown. Unknown, unparalleled. Unparalleled, once again, unmatchable, unprecedented, unequal. And what is very important with regards to it, it is that we have achieved. Achieved means we got it peacefully. Peacefully and by means of an evolution. Evolution means development. Development. What we call irtiqa. Of the greatest possible character. Greatest possible character, Quaid-e-Azam said that this revolution is unprecedented, unmatchable, titanic, because this revolution was achieved very peacefully, without any bloodshed. So that is why it is a great revolution. Dealing with our first function, in this assembly, he told the members of the Constituent Assembly about the first function of that assembly. I cannot make any well-considered pronouncement. Quaid-e-Azam said that he cannot make a very clear pronouncement or announcement. Pronouncement means announcement, elan. Means he said to the members of the Constituent Assembly that he cannot make a clear announcement about the first function of the Constituent Assembly at this moment, but I shall say a few things as they occur to me. That he said that few things come to his mind. Though he cannot make a clear decision, he cannot make a clear announcement about the first function of the Constituent Assembly. But I shall say a few things as they occur to me. The first and the foremost. Foremost means the most important, the prior one. Foremost thing, the most important thing that I would like to emphasize is this. Emphasize means to stress, zor dena. Quaid-e-Azam said that the first thing that is very important that he would like to stress upon, that is what? Remember that you are now sovereign legislative body. He told the Constituent Assembly, the members of Constituent Assembly, that this Constituent Assembly is what? That is a sovereign legislative body. Sovereign means independent, powerful. Legislative body means which make legislation. It will make laws. The same Constituent Assembly would make laws. It would make legislations. And you have got all the powers. They have all the powers. The Constituent Assembly have got all the powers of making laws, of making amendments. It therefore places on you the gravest responsibility. Gravest means serious. Responsibility means obligation, zimmadari. Now he said to the members that it is their what? Gravest serious responsibility as to how you should take your decisions. Now it is their responsibility. The responsibility of the members of the Constituent Assembly, how they make their decision, how they make their judgments. The first observation that we would like to make is this. According to Quaid-e-Azam, his first observation is that you will no doubt agree with me that the first duty of the government is to maintain law. According to Quaid-e-Azam, the first and the foremost duty, obligation of the Constituent Assembly is what? To make or to maintain law and order, to maintain peace and order, to maintain law and order, to maintain peace and order, to create, to maintain law or to maintain peace in the state, in the country, so that the life, property and religious beliefs of its subjects means citizens, are fully protected. Protect is, to make safe, to make secure by the state. Now you see, he quite clearly, he emphatically said to the members of the Constituent Assembly that their first duty is to maintain law and order in order to protect the life and property along with the religious beliefs of its subjects, of its citizens. That is why law and order situation should be maintained. The second thing that occurs to me is this: one of the biggest curses, in Urdu we call it lanat or burai. Curse means what? Affliction. Burai, taklif, or what we call imprecation. Imprecation means lanat bhejna. So according to Quaid-e-Azam, he said that the second thing that occurred to me is this: one of the biggest curses from which India is suffering. I do not say that other countries are free from it. He is talking about the curses from which India is not free. There are though many other curses which also Quaid-e-Azam mentioned, but means one or two curses which are mostly dangerous, from which India is passing. They are what? I do not say the other countries are free from it, but I think our condition is much worse. Worse means bad. Or according to Quaid-e-Azam, many countries are passing through. They are a victim of those curses. But India is mostly affected, is the most affected country. Much worse is bribery and corruption. He is talking about bribery and corruption, that these are two curses that India or the subcontinent as a whole are passing through. Though other countries are suffering from the same two curses, but our condition are the worst one, are the bad one. Our condition is the worst one, is the bad one. And those two curses are what? Bribery and corruption. That really is a poison. Now you see, it works as a poison. It has poisoned the whole society. Due to bribery and corruption, the whole society, Muslim society, that is being what? That is being badly affected. That has been poisoned. We must put that down with an iron hand, and I hope that you will take adequate. Now you see, according to Quaid-e-Azam, these two curses, corruption and bribery. Corruption, do you know, badunwani, and what we call bribery, we call it simply rishwat. That should be put with an iron hand. That should be what? That should be defeated. That should be defeated. Means that a strict measure should be taken against these two curses. One is bribery and one is corruption. It is possible for this assembly to do so. Now adequate means ample, sufficient. Ample, sufficient, enough. Measure means steps. As soon as it is possible for this assembly to do so, means sufficient steps, measure should be taken to treat, to trample, to defeat these two curses. One is corruption and one is bribery. I hope that you have understood translation and explanation. Now we will go ahead to the grammatical study.